2010 has now been called to order. At this time, we will have the invocation will be given by Ms. Griffin, then we'll follow with the pledge. Please stand.
Let us pray on the behalf of my colleague and my friend Sandy Trimmy at her request. Lord God in heaven, we are so thankful again, as we are every day, all day long, for your many blessings. And we thank you for being here tonight as we look forward to your guidings to take care of business for these your people. We ask that you would be with us and that you would place a special blessing upon this jury so that the decisions that we make will be pleasing in your sight. Furthermore, we ask that you would be with us and that you would bless us in our going forth, coming in and going out, and that we will make a difference in the lives which you have given us to serve and protect. And we're so grateful for you. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. In the name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please face the flag, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Mr. Angelpont?
Here.
Mr. Brame?
Here.
Mr. Collins?
Here.
Mr. Farnham?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin?
Present.
Mr. Hassan is out of town this evening. Mr. Landry?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Present.
Mr. McMillan?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Spell?
Here.
Mr. Stelly?
Here.
Mr. Sias?
Present.
Mrs. Trimmy? And President Gideon.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We want to welcome everybody being here tonight. We know the weather outside was getting to be a little bit bad, but we thank you for coming, and we have a couple of presentations that we have to make tonight. But we would ask also if there's anybody that has a cell phone, we would ask that you would put that cell phone to silence, or if there's a pager, if you would put that device to silence also, and we would appreciate that so much so that we can conduct our meeting in an orderly fashion. And with that, I would ask that I could get a motion to pull emergency item number 1, number 16, and 20. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey.
Second.
And a second by Mr. Brame to pull those items. Please review the items printed below for your consideration. The chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules to allow this item to be added to the agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Scott and a second by Mr. McMillan. Are there any comments from the audience at this time? Is there any comments from the audience at this time? If none, I call for a vote on the motion to suspend the rules to allow this item to be added to the agenda. All of those in favor signify by yea. All of those opposed by nay. I think
you had one gentleman who filled out a card.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Griffin.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, we will get to him. Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Motion to suspend the rules and add this item passes. Item number 1, consideration of a request by the Lake Charles Harbor and Terminal District for adoption. Did we get a motion and a second on that item? Yeah. Yes, we did. Is there any discussion? Yeah. All right, then. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. We're back on item number 1, consideration of a request by the Lake Charles Harbor and Terminal District for adoption of a resolution expressing support for the efforts of Lake Charles Cogeneration LLC to obtain $400 million in bond financing for the Lake Charles State Bond Commission for the LCC gasification project to be located on the property leased from the port. I need a motion. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan, and I have a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any objection?
Mr. President, I'm sorry, could we, Mr. Dees is here from the port, that he could give a brief report on this if you have any questions, or just for information.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beam. At this time, we would ask that Mr. Mike Dees come to the mic, please. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Michael Dees, General Counsel for the Lake Charles Harbor and Terminal District. We appreciate the jury adding this item on as an emergency or two-thirds item. The company, as you know, has been working on this project for approximately 5 years, and early last year, received an allocation of GoZone bonds for $1 billion and issued their bonds in April. And those bonds are outstanding. The company's been going forward with some planning, permitting. All the environmental permits have been secured. The site, which is 70 acres owned by the port over on the west side of the river, just south of our bulk terminal number 1, where we handle the petroleum coke, has been totally cleared at about an expense of about $1 million. What has been the issue that the company wants to try to resolve before they commence construction is sufficient number of offtake agreements. In other words, who's going to purchase the products that will be produced as the plant burns the petroleum coke and pulls off hydrogen, argon, synthetic gas, methanol. There's a variety of products that can be pulled out of the petroleum coke, which, as most of you know now, is produced by Conoco and Citgo and is sort of treated as a byproduct. So this is a wonderful project. Environmentally, it's so extremely clean. The CO2 is captured within this new technology that the plant will use, and will be used for secondary oil recovery. In other words, they'll pump the CO2 in the ground and be able to pool oil where you can recover it after the fields have been mostly pumped out. So overall, it'll enhance our oil recovery and ability to produce oil. It produces clean burning gas or equivalent to natural gas. And it's all products that our local industry needs, and they'll be selling to those industries as well as others. So this company, Leucadia, is publicly traded. You can check them out on the New York Stock Exchange. They're substantial, and so we would appreciate your support. We hope what's happened is the project started out at about $1.6 billion. They were going to issue $1 billion in bonds and put in $600 million of their money. Over time, the plant has grown, and so now it's at $2.3 billion. And so they're going back and asking for another $400 million of GO-Zone allocation. It's a little tricky, not a little tricky, but there's two different pots of allocations. One is called Ike recovery, and Calcasieu is mostly Ike. So there's been no applications for those for that pot of allocation. So they're asking for $310 million out of the Ike pot and another $90 million out of the Rita pot.
Thank you, Mr. Dees. I'm pretty sure some of the jurors have some questions. Ms. Trimmy.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Sandy.
It's good to see you. I just want you to give us an idea, because it sounds like this is like an unbelievable opportunity for Calcasieu Parish.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
what kind of jobs do you think we're going to be looking at? How
All right,
many jobs? Everybody's thinking about jobs, and that's
Yes,
what
ma'am.
we really need to know.
Yes, ma'am. The construction jobs for the 2.3 version of the project is 3,000 construction jobs, and it'll take about 4 years to construct the plant. Permanent jobs are about 200, and Jerry, help me, I can't remember my numbers, but 68 million in payroll, annual payroll. I think it's roughly around 60 to 80,000 average for those 200 permanent jobs, something like that.
The average salary
Yes, ma'am.
from 68
60 to 80,000 a
60
year.
to 80,000 a year.
Average.
That's
Average.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Size.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Ms. Deed, that was some of the questions that I wanted to ask. Also, was when is this project planning on getting started
What they hope to be under construction by the end of the year.
in the year?
Yes.
And we are making sure that we are looking at people from Calcasieu Parish as far as doing as getting work. We're looking at getting our people to get to work, because we definitely need to work in this area. So
Yes, sir.
we want to make sure that we target our people from Calcasieu Parish.
Yes, sir. The project's really so big, they will out of necessity have to bring people in from other areas, because they'll tap out the local market on all types of trades and the other types of construction workers. So there'll be a lot of jobs for here, but I know they're concerned about having to be able to accommodate other workers that they'll need for this size of a project.
Well, that might be a good opportunity time for them to us to focus on Tooele or some of these trade
Yes.
areas, as far as getting some of our local people to understand what types of jobs there are out there, so they can get educated and get, so we can still make sure we tap our resources.
Yes, sir.
But we appreciate that, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Size. Mr. Scott? No. Is there any other questions by the jury for Mr. Dees? Mr. Dees, we appreciate it.
Yes,
and,
sir.
you know,
Let me introduce, we have a new port director here. Bill Race is in the back. He got here a little late. There was a wreck on the bridge, and he was coming from Sulphur. But Bill's been with the port for 8 years. He was our operations manager, and recently, May 1st, became the port director. So he's a great guy to work for. He's been extremely involved in this as the operations director, and he'll be the one, basically, we'll have to redesign our bulk handling facility to accommodate this project. So Bill's been in charge of that for 8 years or so.
Bill, we look forward to working with you as a governing body. Thank you so very much. Ms. Griffin?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want, Mike,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question to ask you. I think we have someone that want to speak on the issue, but would you just wait to listen to what the young man is saying?
Sure.
Someone is coming up next in case we have questions,
Sure.
please.
Yes,
Thank
sure.
you so much.
All right. At this time, we would ask that Mr. Paul Geary please come up. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Paul Gary. I reside at 2205 Highway 14.
You may have the floor, Mr. Paul.
Well, the reason I'm here, it sounds like some great jobs, but I got another problem. I know a resolution is nothing, just ceremonial, but I'm asking the police jury to reconsider. We lack of a minority representation on that port board. And that's my problem. Not with the jobs, with the port. And I'm just, putting y'all at notice, by us not having representation on it. That's not fair to us.
I
Thank you.
understand. Ms. Griffin?
I just would like to correct me if I'm incorrect. I think the members on the port is made up of representatives that's nominated from all of the local governmental agencies and also the state of Louisiana. The representatives have an appointment too. Is that correct, Mike? Yes, ma'am. So it would seem like it would be up to the local government to make those appointments. Am I correct? Help me out with that.
Yes, Ms. Griffin, it's different appointments, and Mr. Dees can give the details as necessary. I would just want to remind the jury that just as protocol, if it's on the item itself regarding the emergency item, that is actually a separate item. If it's a clarification about the board, I don't think it's an issue, but I would advise that you really don't get into a discussion on that item as it's not really on the agenda for the board appointment specifically.
Go ahead, Ms.
But I mean, it's clarification about the appointments. It would be fine if you have.
Correct. Well, I knew what I was able to do, but in reference to, I also know when we leave this building, we get phone calls.
Sure, yeah.
And I just wanted to make it known to the public that, to me, the problem lies with the city of Lake Charles and the police jury and the state representatives who make those nominations. Okay, let the record show that I do have concerns as Mr. Geary, but I think that those problems should be solved with the entities that I've referred to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Is
Mike,
there any other comments by the jury?
I just
Ms.
call for
Trimmy?
the question. I call for the question.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item passes. Item number 16, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing and approving the issuance and delivery of not to exceed $80 million in Golf Opportunity Zone revenue bonds in one or more series of industrial development boards of Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, for the purpose of financing the construction issuance installment. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Mr. Porter. Is there any discussion?
Item 16.
16.
Any objection? We do have discussion. Mr. Beam.
Mr. McMillan, I think, was asked to be called on.
Mr. McMillan.
Thank you. As we just heard about the Cogen project, which is very exciting for Calcasieu Parish, we have another exciting project that's going to be taken off rather quickly right here in Calcasieu Parish. What was formerly Conoco Vinco is now Rain CII. They're basically have a keel with some heat going out the stack, and they're going to take that heat and turn it into a cogen plant. Mr. Vasilio's here. Their Vice President, Bob Taney, is here. Bob would like to address this jury a little bit about the project, or Mr. Vasilio, whoever would like to speak first. But to enlighten this jury on what an important vote this is to get this Goes On money for a very positive industry to do something really good for Calcasieu Parish. With that being said, Mr. President, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Charlie Vasilio. I live at 4113 Beauchene, Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I'm the attorney for the Industrial Development Board of the Parish of Calcasieu. The board has passed a resolution authorizing this issuance of bond issues and entered into a preliminary agreement, and we are here in support of this project, as we would like to see that this is accomplished. From the information furnished to us, it would be approximately $3.5 million worth of sales taxes spent in Calcasieu Parish on this project, and $48 million worth of Louisiana labor and materials. So this, to us, is the kind of thing that helps us promote our area, and Mr. Conti knows all the he's the expert that knows all of the details of how it operates. I do not. But in studying their application, the board felt it was something worthy of support.
Mr. Conti, would you please come up and state your name and address for the record, please?
Thank you, sir. My name is Bob Tonti, and I reside at 1810 7 Maples Drive in Kingwood, Texas, and I'm here representing Rain CII Carbon.
You have the floor.
Thank you very much for entertaining this resolution here today. We're very excited about the project, and I very much appreciate Mr. McMillan's summary. It's quite accurate. We operate a facility here in Lake Charles. It's a petroleum coke calcining plant, which means we simply produce high-grade carbon for the aluminum, steel, and titanium dioxide industries. We do that and provide that product worldwide. We're one of the largest companies in the world doing that, and we have 9 plants. 4 of them are right here in Louisiana. One of them is the Lake Charles facility. One thing that we need very much to do with all of the plants that we own is to make them as efficient as possible. And we do cogeneration at our 3 other Louisiana facilities today. Those facilities are located in Norco, Gramercy, and in Chalmette, Louisiana. Our Lake Charles facility does not have heat recovery, and so this project is all about adding energy efficiency to that plant. And the benefits of doing that are that with the heat that already exists there and without firing any fuel or creating any more emissions of any sort, what we're going to do is capture the heat and simply produce about 30 megawatts of electric power and put those 30 megawatts into the electric power grid for use by consumers. We believe this is seen as a good project from the standpoint of the Louisiana Public Service Commission, who has heard about and opined on the project. And it basically diversifies the rate base for consumers, and that's a good thing. It will bring jobs and will bring commerce to the parish of Calcasieu, and we're very pleased to do the project. It represents a substantial investment for our company. And for the most part, the main reason for doing the project, frankly, is to conserve and preserve the jobs that already exist here in Calcasieu Parish. We're not sure that the world will tolerate very much longer the competitive business we're in, plants that are not as energy efficient as they could be. And so that's our purpose in being here. And I hope that you opine positively on the project.
Thank you so much. We do have some questions by the jury. Ms. Trimmy.
I actually don't have a question, but what I will say is Louisiana has 64 parishes, and you have 4 plants.
That's correct.
There are 60 parishes that are very envious of Calcasieu Parish for the 2 big projects that we're able to push forward here in Calcasieu Parish and for the jobs that they will create. So we thank you for being here in Calcasieu Parish and wanting to make this parish greener, and we appreciate for that fact, and I want to thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Trimmy. Mr. McMillan.
And I would like to, a couple of things, maybe just kind of give the jury an idea of the timeline of how quickly y'all are going to be putting this into the process.
Well, we plan to close on the Goes On bonds in September, and with any luck, and if we're able to organize our financing and and our contracts in a timely manner, we could be breaking ground on this project as early as the 1st of this coming year.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. Ms. Griffin.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my colleague mentioned the word green. Will these be considered green jobs?
Well, in a way they are. And in fact, I would say they are because what we're doing is by capturing energy and making power from energy that already exists without burning more fuel, we're effectively creating 30 megawatts that someone else does not have to burn something to produce. And so indirectly, you're exactly correct, ma'am, the emissions of carbon dioxide and GHG emissions goes down, whether it's here in the state of Louisiana or anywhere that the power was generated. The net effect of that is approximately, we've calculated 150,000 tons per year of CO2 emissions being eliminated.
And the 80 million that you will get from the Gulf Opportunity Zone revenue bonds, where is that money coming from?
That would come from private investors in the bonds. These bonds may be publicly marketed, or they may be privately marketed, and that is still a deliberation being held by our banks. Right.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, and I'm excited about what you're getting ready to do.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Is there any other questions by the jury? We thank you guys for coming out this evening. Thank you so much for the information.
Was there a motion made?
Yes, I have a motion and a second. Ms. Trim, is there any discussion? Is there any objection? Hearing none, item number 16 passes. Item number 20, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the Director of Office of Juvenile Justice Service to submit a continuation grant
Move on
application
20.
to the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement for an amount up to $10,000 to continue a juvenile reporting center. I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? We
Question.
do have discussion. Ms. Griffin?
Is Dane here?
Yes, he is. Dane, please state your name and position with the parish, please.
Dane Boland. I'm the, in this case, the Director, Office of Juvenile Justice Services.
Yeah, you wear many hats. Nevertheless, Dane, when I see words, I try to go through them. Federal pass-through. What does that mean, federal pass-through?
Those are Title II funds from the OJJDP, from the federal government that pass through the state, the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement,
Okay.
and go directly to our programs.
Okay, from the federal government to the state to Calcasieu Parish.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Is there any other discussions by the jury? Thank you, Dane.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 20 passes. We're going to go back to the very beginning and start on item number 5. I know we kind of got off track there, but we had some people that was in that needed to make some other meetings. So at this time, we're going to go back to item number 5. Take appropriate actions on applications for liquor and beer. Mr. Vickers.
Mr. President, we have one application for liquor and beer and 2 special event permits, and we recommend they be
Move to
approved.
approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Number 5 passes. Number 6, consideration
Move
approval
on
of all
6.
payments
Second.
on all current invoices. I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 6 passes. Item number 7 is one that we're going to move back. Mr. Wise was unable to attend tonight. Therefore, this item will be placed on the August 19th agenda, so no action is needed on that one. Number 8, presentation of certificates to coaches and players of the 2010 South Lake Charles Baseball All-Stars in recognition of their 2010 Louisiana State Championship. Mr. Collins.
Mr. President, would you meet me at
And
the
Ms.
mic?
Griffin.
No, no.
Coach Pearson, would you meet me at the mic, please? Coach, I welcome you and your team to be attending the police jury meeting tonight, and we just thank you for taking the time out from your busy schedules to be with us. But most of all, we're going to congratulate y'all for the championship that y'all have brought to Calcasieu Parish. I also want to thank God and also the family, the parents
of the children, because without the parents, we could not have this baseball team. I didn't attend all your games, but I'll tell you that I have 2 nephews that plays on the team. We have one is the coach, Fat Cap, which is my nephew. Fat Cap Jubert is my nephew. And then I have a great nephew that's Haiti Jubert. And both of them are members of your team. And so what I'd like to do right now, Coach, is actually to tell us a little bit about your team and also your coaches.
Okay. Again, my name is Sean Pearson. I have a Coach Tommy Derwin here. Coach Fat Cat had to work tonight. And I have 9 of the 13 members of the All-Star team here. July 5th weekend, we won district here in Lake Charles. We went 4-1. Then we were advanced to the state championship, which was held in Bossier City, and we went undefeated 4-0.
Coach, what I'd like to do right now is get your coaches up here. And we'd like to present the picture, and also all your players. And as we call their name, just get in the circle around here, and afterward we'll have pictures with them.
Mr. Collins.
Coach Sharon Pearson. Let me read what it says. Certificate of recognition presented by the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury on this 5th day of August 2010 to Sean Pearson, which is the coach of the South Lake Charles All-Star Baseball team, for winning the 2010 Louisiana State Championship. Congratulations on your accomplishment and on a job well done. Signed by Calvin Collins, Police Jury District 2, and our president, Mr. Kevin Guidry. Thank you. Okay, right here we're going to have one for our player, Mr. Devon Hawley. Mr. Devon Hawley. I'm just waiting to shake hands with
Hawley, you look familiar, huh? Go ahead and make the circle right there.
And now we have Mr.
Stay right there.
Jubert,
Stay right there.
which is my great nephew. Congratulations, Hayden.
Shake my hand. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, buddy.
Okay, Mr. Camp, he's not here, okay? He's not.
Congratulations,
Mr. Craigman Banks, all right.
Good job. Job well.
Mr. J.D. Hoosier, congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
All good, thank you. Parker Ism.
Congratulations, man.
Mackie Darren, Mr. Mackie Darren. Mr. Mike Johnson. Is he here? All right.
Good job, babe. Congratulations.
Hammond
Congratulations,
Kendrick.
man.
He here.
Good job, buddy.
Ed Pearson. All right.
Good job, pal.
Now
Congratulations.
we have Mr. Is that all?
Congratulations. Good job, buddy.
Okay. Would you all circle in there and take pictures? All right.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
What age group was this?
10-year-olds.
10 and under?
Congratulations, Coach.
Okay.
Congratulations, Coach.
How you doing, Mr. This is Bill. Good to see you, sir.
The house will clear up.
Congratulations, man.
Say who, what? I gotta get some glasses. Thought you had some. Good.
Again, we want to thank those little young men for doing an outstanding job, for being the 2010 state champs. Great job, guys, and please keep up the good work because everybody's watching you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 9. I think I've got all the jurors at the back at this time. We're going to move on to item number 9. Presentation by Mr. Paul Arnold with reference to the Southwest Louisiana Leadership Program sponsored by the Chamber of Southwest Louisiana. Mr. Arnold, please. Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, sir.
Usually the way it works.
I'm Paul Arnold, 812 Contour Drive here in Lake Charles. I'm delighted to be here tonight, and with me is Mrs. Debbie Boudreau, who is chairman of our membership committee for the leadership program from Southwest Louisiana. As you all know, the future of Southwest Louisiana is tied directly to the quality and to the contributions of the leaders, both now and in the future. In recognition of the need to develop leaders for the future, the Chamber and the Foundation provide the Leadership Southwest Louisiana program to strengthen potential leadership and community and development, the leaders and practical information concerning all of the issues and the problems that we have and will face in this community, and developing a network of communications so that we can all work together. We challenge the leaders to become involved in all of these programs. This year is the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Southwest Louisiana Leadership Program, and we've recently revised the curriculum to reflect the changes from this past quarter of a century. We have an outstanding alumni roster, and I'd just like to mention we have several here tonight, including Dane Boland that was just here. I hope he hadn't left already. There he is. Jimmy Vickers right here in the front, and your parish administrator, Brian Beam, who've all completed this program. And presently, your own Alan Wainwright, Director of Public Works, is participating. Alan, what did y'all do in the session today?
If you don't mind, we had a great session today. Today we spoke actually very timely concerning Mr. Dees's item y'all just approved. A lot of discussion today was on the high school curriculum, the college curriculum, the secondary curriculums, and how they're going to, how that industry, if you would, the educational industry is going to try and embrace developing more trade workers, exactly what they were talking about just now. One of the projects I'd like to highlight actually was mentioned today was one police jury's helping fund is a renovations to some vocational buildings. I think it's on the Barb or one of those campuses, especially designed to put more kids into that arena early on in their career so that they can fill those jobs they were talking about. So there's a lot of good things going on. I was really personally encouraged that the people who are in charge with education and developing the workforce have it really, they really do have it on their mind to support our industry. And I thought that was very encouraging. And the overall program is an outstanding program. I'd like to thank the Chamber for what they do. They do an awesome job putting us in positions where we learn a lot about all the government, all the other agencies that contribute to our community. So thank y'all for letting me go.
And we'd like to pass out, Debbie has some brochures that explain the program that we'd like to pass out today. And if anybody's interested, we have a few applications we'd like to consider. We're looking for a class, a total of 28 men and women selected from various assets of the community, such as our business, professions, government, education, religion, civic groups, minority organizations, and community groups from all of the 5 parish area. If you are interested or you know people that will be, we would appreciate your filling out a form or getting online at www.allianceswla.org or calling Diane Dronette at the Chamber. She's the liaison for this program. So we certainly do appreciate your time that you've afforded us, and as you can see, the outstanding alumni that you have supported and provided. We want to continue in that aspect. Does anybody have a question? I'd be happy to answer.
Any of the jurors have any questions for Mr. Owner? We do. Mr.
Sir.
Scott.
How long is the program?
It starts in January of every year with a retreat, an overnight retreat where they go through what's called SimSoc, a simulated society, where they all have. Did you think that was fun, Alan? Yes, sir. It's a exciting thing. You actually play roles and participate and develop things in the community. And goes on through November. The graduation program is in November, so it's once a month. You do have to dedicate 1 day per month for the program. It takes the full day, and it's a varied menu of activities, the things that we're faced, as he said today. We even have a day at the legislature where Mike was here. We go to the legislature every year and actually see how a bill is passed, and it's just really an outstanding program.
About how many people apply each year that you have to pick out of?
Well, we'd like to have about 40. That's, I guess, an average is about 40 applicants, of which 28 will be selected, and then those that weren't selected for this year will be first on the list for next year. So it's a competitive type program.
Is it 1 day a week, or is it some on
No,
weekends?
1 day per
I mean,
month.
A month? Is it the weekends sometimes, or
No,
is it
only the initial retreat is a weekend. The rest of them usually on the third Thursday of each month, first Thursday of each month, and it's usually starts at 6:30 or 7 in the morning if we're going to Baton Rouge, that sort of thing, or visiting the local areas. So I believe last week was in Jeff Davis Parish, wasn't it?
So it ends about a normal business day?
Just about, yeah. Normally through by 5.
Oh, I was thinking maybe 2 for Hal.
Oh.
Is there any other questions by the jury? We do have one. Ms. Trimmy.
I actually don't have a question, Paul, but thank you for being so involved in this program. I know many people that have gone through it and said that it's made a difference in their lives. The one thing I do want to tell you is I loved your commercial when you were sopping wet and put the wet hat over your
My
head.
kind of weather.
My kind of weather. He was a weatherman.
You know,
I think
Curtis.
they need to, yes, with Curtis.
Curtis went back to Alabama. His
I
wife
know.
didn't like it, so she had to go back to Alabama, and he had to go with her.
Well, that's what I thought, but I think we should
Miss
do
Curtis.
another one on that same
Well-
line, because you are the best, and I couldn't wait for that commercial to come on.
Well, thank you very
Just
much.
wanted to tell you I love you.
I lost my agent. Russ Bordelon retired, so
That's
I'm in
right.
bad.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you all very much for
Mr. Owner, we
allowing
do
us
have
to
one
be
more speaker, Mr. Size.
Okay.
Yes. How long has this program been in effect?
25 years. This year is the 25th anniversary.
And 25 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how many graduates do you think you?
Well, I mean, just roughly. I don't know exactly, but roughly I would say if we had 25 times 25, 600, I'd say over 600 people have graduated from the program.
Any other questions by the jury? Paul Owner, we thank you for your time.
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you for coming, too. We appreciate it. It's time we'll move on to item number 10, consideration approval.
Move
of
on
the minutes of
10.
the regular
Second.
meeting of the police jury dated July 1st, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 10 passes. Item number 11, consideration approval of the Public Works Committee report dated July 29th, 2010. I need a motion.
Move.
I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point
Second.
and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 11 passes. Item number 10 passes. Wait a minute.
11-1 through
11.
all bullets.
All right, Mr. Andrew Point, 11 and all bullets? Yes. Let me just read those into the record. I'm going a little bit too fast tonight, Mr. Andrew Point. 11.1, recommended that a resolution be adopted authorizing the president of the police jury to execute the necessary documents for a donation of right-of-way and a temporary construction easement. 11.2, recommended that a resolution be adopted authorizing the president of the police jury to execute the necessary documents for acquisition of right-of-way. 11.3, recommended that the Calcasieu Parish project number 2010-01, overlaying of various roads in Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, be accepted as substantially complete. 11.4, recommended that a resolution be adopted to temporarily amend the adoption fee for adult cats and kittens at Animal Service during the month of August 2010 through October 2010 as part of the ASPCA 100,000 Save More Lives Shelter Challenge. I have a motion and a second on all bullets on 11.4 through all those bullets. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 11 and all bullets pass. Number 12,
Move on
consideration
12.
approval of the Agenda Committee report dated July 29, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Stelly and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 12 passes. Item number 13,
Move on
consideration of
13, all
adopting a
bullets.
resolution
Second.
indicating objection, no objection to the following proposed projects in Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, provided said works meet with the rules and regulations of the Corps of Engineers, best management practices during the course of construction set forth by the Environmental Protection Agency guidelines. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Landry. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Vice. And that's on all bullets. Would that be on all bullets?
That was Mr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. Okay.
We'll slow down if you want us to.
No, I need to catch up, Mr. Landry. Let me just go through those bullets for the record, please. Proposal of Mr. Eddie Pruitt to remove approximately 956 cubic yards of bottom sediment, which is to be placed as fill-in behind 344 feet of timber bulk. 11.2, proposal of Jordan Enterprise of Louisiana, Arabi Environmental Solutions, to clear, grub, grade, and redistribute 12,260 cubic yards of native earthen material to construct house formation. That'll be all of them. Have a motion and a second on all bullets. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Number 11 and all bullets pass. Number 14.
Move on 14,
Consideration of
all
authorizing
bullets.
the Director of Planning and Development to notify the following property owners in accordance with Article 2 of Chapter 6 of the Code of Ordinance of the Parish of Calcasieu, Louisiana, to show cause at a public hearing on September 23, 2010, or the first regular police jury meeting thereafter, as to why the structures on the properties as stipulated should not be condemned. Would that be a motion on all of those bullets, Mr. Spell?
Yes, sir.
Let me just read those into the record, please. 14.1, 2951 Renee Street. 14.2, 505 Linwood. 14.3, 2409 Alfred Road. 14.4, 402 East Street. 14.5, 2609 Rushmore. 14.6, 2019 Sam Houston Parkway. 14.7, 3125 Deborah Lane. 14.8, 3538 Harmon Broussard Road. 14.9, 2019 Sam Houston's Parkway. And I have a motion and a second on all of those items. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 14 and all bullets passed. Number 15, consideration of adopting a
Move on
resolution approving
15.
a lease agreement between the police jury and Carol Pierce for property located at 207 Ruby Lane, Sulphur, Louisiana, that was acquired through a flood mitigation grant and must remain as open space. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Andrepont. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 15 passes. We've already taken up item number 16. We will move on to item number 17, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing cooperative endeavor agreement between the police jury and special services
Move on
districts
17.
for various
Second.
police jury services rendered. I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 17 passes. Item number 18, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the renewal of a joint service agreement between the police jury and the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office for security services provided by the Sheriff's Office at the Business and Career Solutions Center, 4250 Fifth Avenue, Lake Charles. I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. Andrepont. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 18 passes. Number 19, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the Housing Department to submit a grant application to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for an amount up to $90,000 for housing counseling program. I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 19 passes. We've already taken up number 20, so we're going to move on to item number 21. Take appropriate actions to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of
defer for 30
Mr.
days.
Johnny Hollingsworth as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Waterwork District Number 7 of Ward 4 and 6. Mr. McMillan asks that that item be deferred for 30 days. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 21 will be deferred for 30 days. Item number 22, take appropriate actions on the expiration of the term of Mr. Jeffrey W. Coates as a member of the Board of Directors of the Industrial Development Board. The Agenda Committee recommend that Mr. Coates be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 22 passes. Item number 23, take appropriate actions on the expiration of the term of
Move to
Mr.
reappoint.
Myron Chamberlain as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Waterworks District Number 9 of Ward 4. The Agenda Committee recommends that Mr. Chamberlain be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 23 passes.
I think that's Chambly.
Chambly?
Chambly,
I'm sorry,
for the record, I think. Is that correct, Mr. Ford?
That's correct. What did I say, Mr. Landry?
I don't think I could
Chambly?
say it. I'm not
Chambly?
sure.
Chambly? I apologize for mispronouncing his name, but the correction on that is Mr. Chambly. Is that correct, Mr. Landry? All right, then. Item number 24, take appropriate action on the expiration of the term of
Move to
Mr. Donnie
reappoint.
Green as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 4 of Ward 3. The Agenda Committee recommends that Mr. Green be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Brame and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 24 passes. Number 25, take appropriate action on the expiration of the term of Mr. Webster James Todd Jr. as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 9 of Ward 2. The Agenda Committee recommends that Mr. Todd be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Stelly and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 25 passes. Item number 26, take appropriate actions on the expiration of the term of Mr. F.J. Sylvester as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 9 of Ward 2. The Agenda Committee recommend that Mr. Sylvester be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Stelly and a second by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? Any objection? We do have objection? Mr. Andrew Point?
I'm objecting to my colleague sitting to my left over here. It keeps me distracted. Which is not hard to do. But.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew Point. If there's no discussion and no objection, item number 26 passes. Item number 27, take appropriate actions on the expiration of the term of Mr.
Move to
Donnie
appoint
A.
Mr.
Landry
Bill
as a
Willis.
member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 8 of Ward 1. The Agenda Committee recommend that Mr. Bill Willis be appointed. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Spell. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 27 passes. Item number 28, take appropriate actions on the expiration
Move
of
to
the term of
appoint
Mr.
Mr.
George
Darrell Mesh.
Wilkerson as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 8 of Ward 1. The Agenda Committee recommend that Mr. Darrell Mesh be appointed. I have a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 28 passes. Item number 29, take appropriate actions on the expiration of the term of Mr. Bill Miller as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Gravity Drainage District Number 4 of Ward 3. The Agenda Committee recommend that Mr. Miller be reappointed. I have a motion by Mr. Brame and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 29 passes. Number 30, take appropriate actions on the expiration of the term of Mr. Jaron W. Kyle as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Ward 4, Fire Protection District Number 4. The Agenda Committee recommends that Mr. Kyle be reappointed. I need a motion on that item. Can I get a motion on that item, please? I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 30 passes. Number 31, take appropriate actions on the bids received by the Parish Purchasing Agent on July 21st, 2010 for sign face and sheeting materials, pavement markings, metal sign posts, and Category 6 FTP cable with unit price effective from September 1st, 2010 until February 28th, 2011. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, number 31 passes. Item number 32, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on August 3rd,
Move on
2010 for
Second.
grazing lease on a tract of land located on Holbrook Park in Ward 6. I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 32 passes. Also, there were no bids received, which was a no response. Staff recommend that this item not be re-advised, re-advertised. All right. Item number 33, consideration
Move
of
to
authorizing the
authorize.
parish purchasing agent
Second.
to advertise for bids for lightweight aggregate and concrete revetments. I have a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? And also, before we dismiss, there was one of our former colleagues that's in the audience that's got a check that he wanted to present to us tonight. I would ask that Mr. Mike Danahay, State Representative Mr. Mike Danahay, please come to the mic and we'll receive that check at this time.
It's in the bank?
It's a personal check, and it's not for my security.
Good to
Thank
see
you,
you,
Mr.
Mike.
Ray. It's a pleasure to be here on very familiar territory and amongst friends. It's always good to be back. Just kind of thank you for allowing me to come forward here, and just kind of don't want to belabor the situation about what's happening with the state level. As you well know, you've probably heard that we're in very challenging financial times. This year was extremely difficult. Next year is even more so. We're facing a $2 billion deficit next year, which a lot of people refer to as the cliff, the tsunami. There's very different words for it, but it is going to be a very challenging time in the state of Louisiana next year, and we're going to have to be creative and have a lot of leadership involved to make it through the next couple of years as far as situations are concerned. With that, I just tell you thank you, and I'll answer any questions if I may.
I got one.
We do. Ms. Trimming.
Mike, your hair's gotten grayer and I lost all mine.
Well, I've got less of mine.
I'm
too.
glad you're in the legislature and I'm on the police jury.
There's a lot less of mine too, I assure you.
Well, one thing I did want to mention, I know the cliff and I know all the hard times and all that, but we have some really good news here in Calcasieu Parish. Things are going well for us as opposed to many, many areas. Today, oil was at $82 a barrel and 14 cents or whatever. And the estimate is that it could go as close to 90 pretty soon and maybe even above. Is it true that our budget in the state of Louisiana is based on $53 a barrel of oil, $53 or $54 a barrel of oil, and then for every dollar a barrel that oil is up, Louisiana receives $1 million a day? More?
I'm trying to remember the figure. I know that it was
I think
based on
it's a day.
$73 in last year's fiscal year.
Oh, y'all moved it up, huh?
It varies from year
It
to
was
year.
53. It's now, in this budget, it's 73?
In this budget year, I'm not quite sure what it was, to be honest with you. And
I
as far
think
as
they
each
were-
dollar of that increase, it's $10 million in each dollar of increase in barrel of oil.
$10 million a day?
Yes.
$10 million per day?
Well, per dollar, whatever that may be, it's $10
We
million.
need to find that out exactly, because the bottom line is,
Now-
I know nobody else in other states, especially way north of here, that take all of our oil and don't really, I don't think, give us the kudos for producing it. And we don't get the money back from the federal government that we should be getting for the productions that we send. Like 75% of the oil in the United States comes from Louisiana, and all the other things that we do. And if we could just find out, because I would, we're going to pay more at the pump. And all them people up there are going to pay more at the pump. But they're just going to pay and go. We're going to have to pay, but we're going to also benefit. Our state will benefit for per gallon. And so what I'd like to find out, or at least get an idea, is it's 82 now. If you're you were based on 53, now you're based on 73, and you're talking $10 million a day difference. So that's almost $10 difference. Let's just, if we average it out, that's $10 difference a barrel from what our state budget's based on. So if that's the truth, then at $1 a gallon more, it's 10 million. So how do we multiply? How much does that come out on a monthly basis? Anybody got a calculator?
Well, and you
But a lot of money that with oil going up, that the state of Louisiana could have a time of healing, even though it's not our, we don't have anything to do with it. It's not our fault whether it goes up or down on the stock market. But all I'm saying is that it will help our fiscal response, our fiscal setup that we have here in the state of Louisiana. Just like he said, the budget is based on 53 last year, 73 this year. Now it's up $10 more. So maybe the next session won't be so hard on you, and you won't start losing your hair. I mean, you know, it's not cut loose yet.
Thank you for that. Let me kind of put it in perspective. Back
Okay.
in the early 80s when we went through this crisis nationally and locally, statewide, that our budget at that time was based on about 50% of oil and gas revenues or mineral revenues. It's only 15% of our budget now. We have diversified and moved away from that, which is good for Louisiana. As you well know, back in '08 when we had multiple surpluses, what was taking place there, barrel oil was up to $147 a barrel, and we had based it on $83 a barrel, and that's what caused that surplus. So, of course, any revenue that we receive from mineral is welcome. Now, understand also that we have borrowed from the rainy day fund or the budget stabilization fund, in that those oil and gas revenues that come in, they have to go back to repay what we have taken from that fund immediately. So that's going to be accounted for there.
So what I'm saying is, once that happens, then we're back to zero.
Hopefully, yes.
That's what I'm saying. We're back to zero, okay? So we're back to a balanced budget at that point.
Well,
and then hopefully a lot of things can happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in play here. We're talking about all our revenue sources are down. It's not just oil and gas. It's sales tax revenues, various other revenue sources that are down also.
Well, I want to thank you for serving on the Appropriations Committee, and I know you're on the.
I'm not on appropriation. I'm on Ways and Means.
You're in Ways and Means,
Yeah,
but
Brett
that puts
Guyman's on appropriations.
all the money has to come through there.
They are
Every
the two
penny
money
that's
committees.
spent in the state of Louisiana has to come through Mike, okay?
Capital
So-
outlay.
Right. So what I'm
clarify
saying
that.
is,
Wait a
we're
minute.
glad you're in that place, and that we appreciate you being there. I know it's an extremely hard job, and we appreciate the job that you're doing, because I have talked to you. I didn't talk to you during the session because I was having some things, and you were like a cat covering. I did call you one time, like a cat covering up Dookie there. But anyway, you've been busy.
We have been
And
busy.
I want to thank you for the job that you've done in all of our legislative delegation. Now, I don't think they're going to beat me for saying that. I did say one word in my lifetime on here that they actually beat me, but I will not do that again.
Thank you.
I want you to know we're proud of you. This whole police jury and all the others that have served before are extremely proud of you and the job that you've done in the legislature. So thank you, Mike, and thank you for coming, because I think this will be good on CGov for people to kind of understand what the budget is, what it's based on, and how when they see things, it'll click in their mind. Oh, well, yeah, maybe I'm paying $350, but them guys up north, at least Louisiana's getting $10 million a day back on it. Okay, so that's the point I wanted to make. And thank you, Mike.
I appreciate that.
You lost your hair, but you didn't lose your gab.
No, I didn't. Thank you.
Francis.
I happen to notice. I'm gonna, if I may.
Go ahead, Mike.
Last week, I think I saw in the media that there were some questions about the I-10 bridge and where we were on that, and I can make some comments to that.
Good.
I'm not going to make them in. I'm not going to speak for DOTD or DEQ or local industry, but There has been a series of communications that have been going on between them as far as the bridge is concerned.
Mike, hold on just a minute.
Mike,
Go ahead.
we were asked if we would discuss that next week. Well, we'd love to have you back at our next meeting to discuss it because they wanted to do a full report on it on the news, and maybe something that you have would be very relevant in that news report.
That's fine.
So I would ask, could we deferred that?
Well, I
to our
assume
next meeting?
DOTD is going to be coming and making that report.
Yeah,
so,
and
I'll
we'd
let
love
them-
to have you here
and
with
I'd rather
us.
have them do that because they can speak probably more to it than I can. Was going to look at it from a legislative end of what
I'll
state.
talk to you after the meeting.
Right, and
Be
I
happy to
think
do that.
your input is very important, and I appreciate that, but I know they wanted to do one major story on the lights and on the I-10 bridge, and having you as a state rep here, so we invite you back to the next meeting next week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mike, we have a
Appreciate
few
it.
more questions.
Yes.
Mr. Spell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mike, I just want to echo Ms. Trimmy's comments. We appreciate your service. I think we're privileged by the service you're providing, and we're glad to have you in Baton Rouge. I know with the issues that the state's looking at, I just wanted to say, Mike, you know, with all the things that y'all are going to have to juggle, just please give the best consideration you can to try not to reduce state investment in infrastructure. I know that cuts are coming. I know we got to tighten the belt, but investment in infrastructure is investment in the economy of the state and local communities. So I just like to ask, with all due respect, that y'all consider that in your deliberations in the upcoming year.
And I'll assure you that that probably will not take place, considering that most of the funding for transportation needs is dedicated. And in fact, the problem that we have with that is that the gasoline tax that funds that isn't sufficient to continue to fund it at the pace of what the needs are. And we struggle with that now, and there's a lot of things out there to try to do to correct that.
But we greatly appreciate you being here with us.
I just want to comment that I'd also like to thank all our delegation members that from Southwest Louisiana. They do a fantastic job there. We work very closely together, so much so that all across the state of Louisiana we're known as being very cohesive in what we do, and it serves us well to do that. So.
Thank you, Mr. Spell. We have one more speaker, Ms. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mike, good to see you, and thanks for coming. Will you be able to come next week?
No, probably not, unfortunately. I will make the effort. But
That would be 2 weeks on the 19th. On the 19th.
I had to check my calendar. I
You
really
have to
don't
check
know.
your calendar. Because I'm very interested in wanting to hear what Mike has to say in case he can't come. You know, I know DOTD will probably be here, and that will be from their perspective. But I would like to hear what you're talking about in reference to the Southwest delegation and your input. Mr. McMillan, would you have a problem with that?
Let me just kind of briefly, we have had a series of meetings with the various entities, DQD, DOTD, and the local industry. And I think things are moving forward with that thing. The hurdle that we have here is not so much from when you go to the funding mechanism. The funding mechanism, the only way we can get to that is go through address the environmental issues. And so once we begin that process, then we can seek the funding for it. And so I know that there's various designs out there. I know that the grade separation in Westlake is very important. That is part of that design that we're going to do. And like I said, DOTD will be able to speak to that more in detail than anything. But I just want to know that we are moving forward with it.
And that is what I was interested in hearing and what you had to say in reference to the state representatives and the delegation. Thank you, Mike, as usual. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Ms.
President.
Griffin. Is there any other discussion by the jury for Mr. Danahy? Mr. Landry, you don't have anything to say at all, Mr. Danahy?
I know when to shut up.
Well, thank y'all
I'll
very,
save
very
All
much
right,
for
Mr.
allowing
Landry.
me to come
Mike,
speak.
we
at this
appreciate you
impromptu.
coming. Anytime you're in,
I know
please
the
stop in and
hour's
visit.
late, and I know
We'd
we're
love to
glad
have
get
you.
out. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Mike Danahy.
Move to adjourn.
I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms.
Second.
Griffin and a second by Ms. Tribune. We're now adjourned.
Thank you.